So, good afternoon, and I am Kim Tasso. I am a marketing and business development consultant. So, let me start by introducing our two speakers today. I've got Carl Hewitt and his colleague, Becky Willis.
So today we're hoping to talk you through this and also to give a bit of context, we want to explain what this title really means. I appreciate webinar titles can sometimes be a bit jargony and a bit corporate-y, but what we mean by this is we want to explain to you what a marketing ecosystem is, how you can approach yours, and how you can approach yours in a world that's getting increasingly complex. So the first point I'd like to clarify is a digital ecosystem is different to a funnel, and they work together. I think that the funnel is there's been a lot of iterations on it. People saying the funnel is dead and things like this across as things come and go into fashion. I still think it's very valid and it holds water, and it's essentially the customer awareness basis, problem aware, solution aware. And so that is absolutely still valid, but it does miss some of the nuance of today's environment, especially when it comes to digital, in that you have a real plethora of touch points in an ecosystem, all of which are connected in various different ways. And that's why obviously we call it an ecosystem, because each element is connected and impacts the other. If one is poor, that might impact another one. And the key thing to remember is the funnel is still important. Clients can interact with almost any of these touch points in an ecosystem. We have distilled it down into 6 pillars of what we would call a healthy digital ecosystem. Below these sits, again, a whole number of options, but it gives you a little bit of a framework and structure to start to be able to tackle this with, rather than the tens of thousands of options in front of you and trying to figure out which one to audit first. So the 6 pillars that we distill that down into are one, visibility. So can the right people find you? The second is experience. What happens when they do find you? How is that experience for them? Is it conducive of conversions and a positive customer experience or not? The data you have, do you understand what's happening across all of these various pillars?
The other point I was going to say is in the professions and property, our senior stakeholders, it's all about the relationships, because it's often, the B2B space rather than the B2C space. So for them, their language and their currency is around relationships. And sometimes they don't see the link between the digital marketing initial touch points, the different touch points between different players at a business to business organization. So and I say you must have had that conversation many times, how does the digital marketing piece connect with the more day-to-day, our professionals out interacting and creating relationships? How do we bridge that gap, that understanding gap?
Because we talked earlier about how websites are no longer just a brochure or a static page. This is a really important part. So getting to understand how digital as an and the ecosystem that surrounds it actually becomes that trust marker. So for example, you work really, really hard to build that relationship. You meet at a conference and you shake hands with each other, and then they go away and they check your website, which doesn't load. And then they were like, oh, I think I remember the name of it, and they go to Google you, but you're not on the first page. So then they find your competitor. So it's all of these things like digital, and actually it's the things that sometimes you don't know what's happening is actually the thing that's tripping you up the most, which is really difficult. But if people can understand that it's no longer a linear thing of like, put up an advert, somebody Googles you, they land on your website, they convert. It's a lot more squiggly. It means that, from our side, that's where you need to really try and convince the stakeholders.
So thank you very much.